Hey everybody, welcome back to Battle Ready Inc. So today we're going over Ferocity from the new Wildhearts TCG that's coming to Kickstarter beginning of January 7th. So we're taking this time to go ahead and cover all the starter decks that are going to be available in this Kickstarter. If you've ever seen these indie TCGs on Kickstarter, they do phenomenally well. So getting in on these early founder sets like this, we're going to have alt arts that are going to be one of a kind, only ever going to be available in this founder set. These are going to be cards you definitely want to have if you're any sort of collector. So we're going to be going over Ferocity today, and Ferocity is my favorite of all four styles. Hands down, no contest. I'm here for some Ferocity. All right, let's go ahead and get into this. All right, so we are here in Tabletopia, which is the mod that they have for the game here for playing the starter decks for free. So if you join their Discord, they have the link to the mod where anybody can come in here and play these. You just send a link to someone else that's playing with you that you want to play with you, and then you guys can jump in here and start playing a game. Super friendly, great community. If you're looking for it to get in a game, it's usually pretty easy to. So I've got all of the Ferocity cards laid out that are going to be in the starter decks. So you take any of the two different styles and you throw those two styles together, and that makes you a complete deck. So there's four different styles, so 2 and 2. So then that'll make you two starter decks. So Ferocity here, though, Ferocity is definitely kind of like the name implies here. It's very ferocious and like, I don't want to say unforgiving, but you'll see what I mean when we get into it. So our familiar that's coming out, this is our dragon here. We got the Infernander dragon. So it's a 4 power, printed 4 power, but debut, if you are winning this field, gain +1 power. Right at the beginning of the game, there's no other cards in play. Your opponent maybe has played out one familiar if you're going second, but then you play out yours. You got 2 empty fields to choose from. You'll be able to pick one that's empty. This is basically instantly a 5 power creature right off the bat. And then you're going to debut this, every single round as the game continues. So in theory, by the end of the game, you'll be at an 8 power off of his debut alone. Ongoing, though, when you discard any number of cards from your hand, you may give a creature in this field -1 power. If any of your skill cards, give -2 power instead. So a lot of what we're going to be seeing here is going to be a decent amount of discard effects. So we'll be able to trigger this ability a lot. And then, of course, as the the full set one releases, there's going to be way more ways to trigger this, and then really put in a lot of skill cards as well to get that -2 power. So very quickly, this might not seem like a crazy high power for like a dragon, but when you consider the fact that you're just throwing out all this minus power constantly, like it really adds up. All right, so our first 1 power creature here, we have the Latticeer. It's a 1/2, pretty standard play cost to power ratio. Debut, you may discard a random card from your hand to give an opposing creature in this field -4 power. You have the Infernander, that's already basically a -5 power to something in that field. That's really, really good value. If it's a skill card, that's essentially a -6. Again, you can choose a different target if you so choose. But when you consider it like that, this is you could almost view it as a 1/8 creature with a discard effect. Like, when you get that value there, so good. But even without hitting the super big combos, a 1/6 is still really solid. So the Latticeer, pretty nice. And that this discard may feel like a negative, like losing a hand resource, but when you also are thinking about it in conjunction with other cards that you're running, like the Infernander, the value actually feels a lot better. Next up, we have the Sealant here, which is a 1/3, which 1/3s are decently, uncommon. But debut, move an ally to this field. It can be yours or your opponent's. It doesn't specify. And reveal the top card of your deck. If the revealed card matches the style of that ally, gain 1 VP. So if you're moving your own creature, you're trying to get more and more power into this field, you play the ceiling, and then if you're moving your own creature, there's a good chance that you'll be able to hit the same style, of course, in your deck. But you could also use this on your opponents. Say you want to pull a really high power creature out of another field over into this irrelevant field that's maybe not active, you'll get value there as well. Now, you might not get the second part, but if you're playing any sort of mirror match, then maybe you would. But yeah, you're definitely playing this for that move. Get more of your own creatures into your field for more power, or pulling powerful creatures out of a field that you don't want your opponent to have. So nice, flexible card there. For our 2-power creatures here, we have a Tortu. One of my favorite combos is with the Might. If you watched our Might video, they have a 2/5 Tortu that just debut gain block. I love running these two together because it feels really nice. So debut, gain block, and each other friendly creature with block gains +1 power. So yeah, your other Tortu is just going to get a go up in value. Also, if you're playing the owl that lets you use multiples of the same card, you could have 2 of these guys on field. That's going to be really good because they're going to synergize really well. Because ongoing, when a friendly creature loses block, Tortu gains +1 power. And so including himself, when he loses his own block, he'll go up to a 2/5. So really, really great card here and can get out of control. Pairing him up with a lot of Might, because a lot of Might cards have block built in, that's going to be really good value. So he's going to go up like crazy. I did a test game the other day with him against him, and I was going to do like a 1-2 punch, like pull his block off and then finish him off and get him off the field. But my opponent just kept putting another block source on him, and then like block. He was so juiced up. He was like a 9-power Tortu by the end of the game. I was just like, I've done this to myself. So I love the Tortus though. Really great cards. Next up, we have the Gel Ice here. It's a 2/4 ally. It has speed on it, so you're going to play this and you're going to immediately do something else. Debut, choose an opponent, take a random card from their hand. So debut, take a card from their hand. You have speed, so then you could immediately play that card that you got from them. So that could be some really good value there. KO, discard the top card of each opponent's deck. If any were 3 power cost or more, gain 1 VP. You notice it says each opponent. So if you're playing a multiplayer game, like we'll be doing a 4-person free-for-all here soon on the channel. We're going to go ahead and live stream that. You'll have an exceptional chance to hit a 3 cost. Now, you can't trigger it multiple times. It's only going to be if any were 3 cost or more, gain 1 VP. So you get 3 different shots across your 3 different opponents to reveal a 3 cost, gain 1 VP. So not bad on a KO effect. I wouldn't want this necessarily on a debut effect, but as a KO effect, pretty nice, because your opponent might not want to, because it's a 2/4, they might not want to clear this 4 power off, and if they do, they might regret it if you gain a VP off of it. So we get 2 copies of those, and then we get the powerhouse ally in the deck here in the form of Croc. He is a 3/7. Nice, like beefy 7 power creature here. Now it does have Guardian though, so the opponent has to target him with detrimental effects. That could be good, that could be bad. In the starter decks though, for removal, if the opponent is playing Might's only removal that they currently have is only being able to delete 4 power or less. So the opponent has to target Croc with that removal. That removal is not strong enough, so then their removal just fizzles. So some neat interactions there with Guardian. Sometimes being super powerful is too much for the opponent to be able to clear. But then also debut, all players shuffle their hand into their deck, then draw that many cards from their deck. So this is really nice. Say you play a card that might return a card to their opponent's hand, and you're like, well, I don't want them to just be able to replay that. So then you play out the Croc, force them to shuffle it into their deck and then draw new cards. Also, if your hand is really bad, this is basically an instant mulligan on a 7 power creature. So also really nice. So multiple uses. I really like that about this guy, is the multiple uses that you can use with him. So really great card. Again, though, Guardian on a big, massive power creature. We talked about this in one of the other videos. I'm a big fan of dropping these guys like at the end of the turn, so end of the round, basically, where I know my opponent won't be able to counterplay me and then remove my 7 power creature off the board super easily. So nice little holdout card here for like round 3 kind of thing to drop, maybe a round 2, depending on the situation, if I really need that mulligan. Now that's it for our allies here. Next, we're going to go into the tamer cards. First up, we have Ambush. So it's a 1 cost. The value on this can feel so good. Choose a field. Reveal cards from the top of your deck until you reveal 2 1-cost or lower ally cards. Set them aside and shuffle the rest of the revealed cards back into your deck. Play the revealed ally cards to that field in the order they were revealed. All right, so there are some pretty heavy restrictions, but this is a 1-cost card that's about to get you 2 bodies on the field, and you just keep going until you find 2 bodies. Now, an issue, though, if you play this card like mid to late game, you run the issue of revealing cards that you might already have in play. You notice we got a lot of 2 copies. We can only ever have 1 copy of each in play at a time, unless you're running the owl that lets you have multiples of the same name. So you got to be kind of careful with that depending on your build. But again, you should be combining it with another style, another color, so you have an increased chance of revealing 2 different 1-power creatures. So that's going to be really good, and you're going to get those debut effects. Now, you do have to play them in the order that they were revealed, which might be an issue depending on the situation of what you revealed, but it might not be that bad. And you also have to choose the field beforehand. When we covered Tactics had a 3-cost card that lets you reveal 5 cards, and then you get to play 2 bodies from that, and you get to pick the field. But again, 1 cost versus a 3-cost, there's got to be some balance there. So really cool card in Ambush. Just a 1 of here. But moving on to Fury Potion. I'm a big fan of Fury Potion. It is a 1-cost, give an ally +5 after scoring, KO that ally, and then discard a random card from your hand and draw a card. So yes, you're gonna have to discard with this, but you get to just draw another resource, back into your hand from your deck. So that's not too bad. The KOing of an ally might feel bad, but if you throw this on, something that has a KO effect, like a Gel Ice, then you're going to get that KO effect off of it. But also, there's going to be a lot of 1-cost allies, so those are really good ones to target with a Fury Potion because they'll have a KO effect on them. So you're going to get a lot of bang for your buck out of this card. A big old 5 power, for one cost, and you're going to be able to trigger one of your own KO effects. That's going to be pretty good there. And then the support, you may KO a friendly ally to give a friendly familiar +2 power. I use this all the time. I love, if I can see a Fury Potion turn 1 of a game, this is usually pretty much 9 times out of 10 my support of choice. Being able to just do that effect, you're like, you like killing your own creatures that much? Trust me, when you have a lot of KO effect creatures that are 1 cost, 2 power, right? Think about the Lattice here just alone, right? You get this debut effect, and then it's just a 2-power creature just sitting there taking up space and preventing you from playing another Lattice here. If I use Fury Potion, I just blow this up and then give that 2 power to one of my familiars. So then my familiars can then use that power. So I'm not really losing power at all. I'm just clearing a body off the field, so that way I can play down a second copy of that same card potentially. Maybe I triggered a KO effect that's really good. So I'm a big fan of running Fury Potions, definitely at a 2 of, because of that support ability. It's just so good. Next up, we got our 2-cost Tamer card in the form of Momentum Shift. 2-cost Tamer card. It has speed, so you got to go right afterwards again. Choose an opposing familiar. Give any plus power they have to a friendly familiar in their field and force that opposing familiar to their bench. Wow, what a sucker punch to the face. This against like a might deck that just has so much power that they're gaining just every single round. They're like gain power, gain power, gain power. Like being able to say like steal 10 power off of it and put it on your own familiar, and then you just force it back to the bench, so now it's not even in play. Oh, that's such a massive power like swap in that you can perform with this momentum shift. Just 2 copies here feels, it's pretty solid having 2 copies to play, or 1 copy to play and 1 copy to support. You'll only ever really need to probably play 1 of this, because once you do it, like they've spent all that time powering up a creature, a familiar in particular, that they probably won't have enough power to ever warrant needing to do this a second time. But the support, I also get great value out of. Give a familiar block. So, we power up our Infernander a whole lot. We want to keep it protected, so it doesn't have any other way to protect itself. No Guardian or anything like that except for our Croc. So we're going to we will want to give it block to keep it protected. Also, that momentum shift really combos nice with the Tortu. So, you're going to give your Infernander block, and every time they try to remove that block, then you're just going to power up your Tortu. So good synergy there with the momentum shift and the Tortu. And our last card that we have here, I love this card. This is one of those cards that like you either love it or you hate it. And one of the reasons I fell in love with playing Ferocity was because of this card. I think it's just really awesome. So 3-cost Tamer card, Judge's Decree. If you have initiative, give it to an opponent. Choose a field. Play a random card from your hand to that field. Then discard a random card from your hand. End the Tamer phase. So you just end the round completely. And then you go straight into scoring. This is great. Again, if you have initiative, so you're going first before your opponent can even do anything. It's really nice. You see what the flop is, so you know what fields are active. If you're winning both of those fields, or all 3 fields even, that's the great time. Just go, boom, Judge's Decree. Like, I'm winning all the fields already, and I'm going first. I have initiative. Judge's Decree, boom, I win the fields, and we move on to the next round. In addition to that, though, you also get that free card from your hand that you get to play. If you only have 1 card, say you got Croc in your hand, boom, you play the Croc, and now you have nothing to discard. So if you only have 1 card, you have that guarantee of what it is, which is really nice to have that knowledge of, well, I know what card's going to hit for sure. So really, really powerful a card here. I think it's great. Me and one of the developers, we go back and forth. He's not a fan of it, but I love it. I know he's going to be watching this. So it's just one of those cards. He's like, I like it as a get out of free jail card. Like, I'm not winning this round, so I'm just going to Judge's Decree right off the bat to like stop the bleeding and then move on to the next round, draw more cards kind of situation, reset. Say you played your familiars in a bad location. Multiple kind of different scenarios like that. So the flexibility on this card is really nice as well. So yeah, that is it for Ferocity here. I think it's fantastic. I've had, a little bit of a sneak peek of a few other cards that are coming out. If you're going to be watching our free-for-all video, definitely check that out, because that's going to be really awesome to see a few extra cards revealed. So just Ferocity for me, like, it just keeps getting better and better, and I'm just really excited to get my hands on these cards here soon and be able to play it. But this is the last video in this of the 4 different styles that are going to be coming out in the starter decks for that January 7th Kickstarter reveal. So make sure you get in on that. I will definitely be supporting this game, absolutely 100% all the way. It's going to be a lot of fun. I feel like this game is going to be definitely going to be making some waves. So check it out.